Welcome, good to see you.
Thank you, good to see you.
How are you finding Pristina?
It's quite nice. It's my first time here, so it's quite exciting.
Yeah, it's my first time too, and it is tremendously exciting. I spoke really about the global picture there, but here I'd like to focus a little bit more closely on the subject for today and where we are. We have a difficult winter ahead of us here in Europe. Can you give us some thoughts, your thoughts and the EIU's thoughts on the outlook for energy and growth within Europe more broadly?
Yes, of course. So Russia's war in Ukraine has had a major impact on Europe through commodity price surges and also supply chain disruptions. These all compounded problems arising from the pandemic. We see how surging inflation, particularly of energy prices, and the subsequent monetary policy tightening is squeezing European households' budgets, and is also affecting businesses, especially those in energy-intensive industries. Europe is rushing to overhaul its energy policy system and is rushing to move away as quickly as possible from Russian energy resources and its dependency on Russian natural gas and oil, but that will take time. And until that happens over the course of over the next few years, European countries will have to deal with natural gas shortages, which of course will feed into higher electricity and energy bills for households, and also it will be problematic for businesses as well, who will either have to decrease or hold production or move production elsewhere, especially if they operate in these very energy-intensive industries. Now, all this leads to a very difficult winter ahead of us, and we are forecasting a full-year recession in the euro area and in the EU in 2023. We're forecasting a recession in the euro area of negative growth of 0.4% next year, and for the EU as a whole, that will be minus 0.2%. Inflation, it will be decelerating next year, but at 5.9% on average across the euro area. It will be the second highest reading since the euro area was established after 2022, of course, which will be the highest. And now this will encourage the European Central Bank to continue with its current policy of increasing interest rates, and that will further dampen the growth prospects of the region.
Great. Well, we're here in Pristina. We're at a conference about the Western Balkans. So can you place the Western Balkans within that picture for us?
Well, of course, similarly to other East European economies, the Western Balkans are particularly exposed to the unfolding crisis. On the one hand, the region is closely integrated with the EU economies, and a recession in a major partner country such as Germany or Italy would have negative spillover effects for this region as well. On the other hand, the countries of the Western Balkans have much more limited fiscal space to provide support for households and businesses. And of course, a key note to mention is that the countries in the Western Balkans do not have access to the same array of instruments and support mechanisms that EU member states do. And that will again provide some limitations as to how they can support the economy. But it should be noted that we have a more positive outlook for the Western Balkans than for some European economies. For example, we still believe that growth in the region will remain positive across the board, around 2 to 3%. Some sectors, for example, such as tourism, could continue to perform strongly, especially as European tourists are looking for more affordable destinations during a recession. But it will be a difficult time, and we'll see that inflation will also remain problematic. And this will also direct the future of the EU and Western Balkan relationship, because in a time of crisis, this closer cooperation and closer integration will become ever more important. The issue of EU enlargement will remain contentious within the EU. We see that there is still opposition inside the Union about that. But we see how the war in Ukraine has placed a new emphasis on integration and enlargement, and we could be surprised positively by some developments in that respect to accelerate the Western Balkans Euro-Atlantic integration process.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thanks very much. I think that you know, the broad picture that you give us there really leans towards the opportunities side of the balance that we were talking about, which is a good thing. Well, we'll be hearing more from Mario later on in the day. He'll be chairing some sessions after lunch. But for the moment, Mario, thanks very much. Thank you.